Limbaugh. Rush, nice to see you.
Thanks, Greta. Great to be here as always.
Thank you. And of course, we love being here, although we blew out your power when we arrived.
Well, it's the second time it's happened. We should have been more prepared for this, but it only kept us off the air about 3 minutes. We'll send you the bill.
And of course, it's the second time, though, but it's also the first time was us, too.
Yeah, it was. Both times. The only 2 times.
All right. Well, anyway, next time, I promise we won't do it. 2012 election. What do you think is the most important issue to conservative Americans?
Obama. Everything Obama. That's the most important issue to conservative Americans. I don't know how you separate Obama from his policies. Obama is his policies, and Obama's the problem. Obama has a vision of this country that is not held by anywhere near a majority of people. You realize Barack Obama had run for office in 2008 campaigning on what he's done. He wouldn't have got 30% of the vote, if that, which is pretty much commensurate with the way that I think how liberals have to run. They have to lie. They have to mischaracterize who they are, what they want to do, what they stand for. They are a minority in this country. They're a minority of thought, but they are not perceived that way. They got the mainstream media with them. The perception is that they're a much larger bloc than they really are. But if you had to signal out one thing about Obama, it'd be Obamacare. I mean, that sums up, I think, everything that's disastrous, dangerous, destructive about Barack Obama. If that health care bill is not reformed, repealed, the country is going to change forever in ways that people cannot possibly imagine. It's going to be a massive loss of individual liberty and freedom. And once the government has control of health care and the costs involved, then they can dictate every aspect of the way you live based on saving money, whether or not you're going to be treated based on your age, and whether somebody thinks it's worth it to save you if you have some sort of a bad disease. It's just bad all the way around. And people ask me, you really think these things that you say about Obama? And I do. I mean, from the bottom of my heart. And if you'll recall, January 16th, before Obama was inaugurated, I was asked to write a piece for the Wall Street Journal, 400 words on what I hope for the president. And I remember at that time, everybody was awash in the glow of the first black president, all the historical aspects of it. And that didn't matter to me. Once he was elected, cool, fine, great achievement. His policies matter to me, what he's going to do. And I told the Wall Street Journal, it won't take 400 words, I can do it in 4. I hope he fails. And what I meant by that was I hope that everything he wants to do policy-wise fails. He hasn't failed. He has succeeded beyond his wildest dreams, I'm sure. This national single-payer health care, which is where this is headed, if it happens, huge, huge achievement, ball game. The green energy stuff, I mean, that's all a hoax and a fraud based on another hoax and fraud, global warming. And I do get interested in motivations, why politicians do things they do, what motivates them. A lot of people don't care to get involved with that. I do, because I think it's a track. It can give you an idea of where they're going in the future if you understand what it is that motivates them. And I have always suspected that Obama has a chip on his shoulder about the country, that he doesn't think of it as great. He doesn't think of it as exceptional. He thinks of it as criminal in many ways, as guilty in many ways. He thinks that our superpower status was a result of theft, resources and ideas from other nations all over the world. He believes the multicultural garbage that we came here, kicked the Indians off the land, and brought with us racism, sexism, bigotry, homophobia, slavery, and all that. And I think that Obama wants the people of this country to find out what it's like to live the way he thinks we have forced other people around the world to live. And he said it. We went to Osawatomie, Kansas. He basically said that the way this country founded has never worked. Self-reliance, the way he characterized it was even, to me, offensive, that everybody out fending for themselves. Self-interest has fed more people than charity ever has. Self-interest, everybody trying to do for the best for themselves, not selfishness, but self-interest, raises everybody up. It offends him. He says, it's never worked. So he said, 230, 40 years, whatever, America has never worked. The rich are the problem. Who believes that the rich are the reason we've got an economic mess? He does, or he wants people to believe it. It's offensive. It is outrageous, and I don't relish the thought of 4 more years of this.
Is he, in your mind, a bad guy, or is it a different ideology?
One and the same. What do you mean by bad guy? It could be a little loaded.
I guess I mean a motive to, an intentional motive to hurt the country versus his ideology is one that the way to achieve ideals is different values.
This is the question. We are living under a number of assumptions about Obama that have been presented to us by elites, both parties. One of the illusions is that Obama's brilliant. He's smarter than anybody else in the room. It was messianic. We have never had a politician like this in our midst. We were told in 2007, 2008. Nobody like Obama has ever trod our soil. It was going to unify us. The world was going to love us again. It's going to lower the sea levels. I mean, ridiculous stuff. So the question is he just dumb? Does he really believe this economic stuff? Does he really believe that taking capital money out of the private sector and transferring it to government and unions is the way you grow the private sector? Is that the way created? Does he really believe that? Is he that ill-educated? Is he the product of nothing other than the American education system and whoever influenced him at home when he was young? Or is he an ideologue? Is he a Marxist socialist who has an agenda that's oriented toward cutting the country down to size? I mean, that's the question. For me, the answer to the question is irrelevant. I simply, whatever he's doing, why he's doing it, it's obvious he is doing it. He is taking steps, he's had policies that are injurious to the country, injurious to individuals, targeting as the enemy the people who work in this country, targeting as the enemy the people who pay taxes. This business of this Occupy Wall Street crowd, which is his, was created, I think, on the basis that Romney was going to be the Republican nominee. Romney's Wall Street, so you get Obama's band out there, Occupy Wall Street, protesting. It was set up to oppose Romney. Wall Street blamed for all of these ills in the economy, like the subprime mortgage problem. That's the subprime mortgage problem, which is the root of this economic disaster we're in, was strictly created by government. It was a plan designed, as Barney Frank has said, affordable housing. Put people in homes that couldn't afford them. Loan them money knowing they can't pay it back. Community Redevelopment Act. Bill Clinton started it, Jimmy Carter and Janet Reno, Andrew Cuomo. They forced lending institutions to make these loans, these mortgages, people can't pay them back. The lending institutions are holding worthless paper. That's no good. So what do? They come up with creative ways to turn that worthless paper into something of value by creating mortgage-backed securities that they then sell to another unsuspecting bunch of dupes down the line. And that kept happening until there was nobody left to buy them. The whole thing blew up, and it's where we are. And Wall Street had nothing to do with it. They're a convenient enemy. Obama loves to run around and talk about Wall Street tricked people into coming in and getting these loans. Wall Street didn't tick anybody. They were told, they were ordered by the government to make these loans in fairness, stop redlining against minorities and so forth. It was liberalism on parade. Liberalism has given us every problem that we're facing in this country today, without exception. Now, whether liberals are dumb and stupid and ill-educated, or whether what this is purposeful, too late now to draw the distinction. It's happening. And they're doubling down on it. 3 years, and every policy to create jobs hasn't worked. Greta, do you realize there are 2.5 million fewer jobs in America than there were when Obama was immaculated? That's why the unemployment rate's dropping. There are fewer jobs. The universe from which we create this percentage has shrunk. The real unemployment rate, who was it said this? 2 people have said this. Old Financial Times guy, some guy named Luce, James Pethokoukis at Reuters. If the same number of jobs existed when Obama was inaugurated, the real today, as in 2008, then the real unemployment rate would be 11%. It's a disaster. And there's been plenty of time to realize it doesn't work and to change course. He hasn't done that. So, to me, it's patently obvious he's not going to do it because he doesn't believe in it. What's happening, I think he enjoys.
Do you think he's going to get reelected?
Well, it's a year away, 11 months away, and anything can happen. If the election were today, no. If the election today, he'd lose in a landslide. I don't believe the conventional wisdom that the Republicans only have one person that can beat him. I don't believe the conventional wisdom that his $1 billion can dwarf any campaign, that his association with the media can disparage and criticize any opponent to the point they can't win. The American people are hurting. Obama can't run his record. The last thing, he cannot say, vote for me for 4 more years. All Obama can do is run a negative campaign, tear apart his opponent, tear apart the country in the process. You know, these two guys that appear on your network a lot, Cadell and Schoen, they wrote a piece begging him to get out, make way for Hillary. They said his only chance is to run such a scorched earth campaign. Even if he wins, he's torn the country apart in the process, divided it worse than it's been in decades, not worth the price that his reelection would, and he wouldn't have a mandate to do anything after he wins. But I think he's imminently defeatable. So I don't believe the inside the Beltway conventional wisdom about elections pretty much in any regard.
You mentioned Hillary Clinton. Would she have been a different president in you?
Not ideologically.
How about in what she accomplished?
I think she would have sought much the same kind of thing. I don't know whether she would have succeeded, for example, in getting health care passed. But people have forgotten. You look what they were this close to deeming health care passed without voting on it. That close to deeming it because they really didn't have the votes for it, even with their own party. There was so much finagling going on to get health care passed. That whether Hillary could have gotten it done or not, but she's an Alinskyite. I mean, she's a disciple of the same community organizer and agitator that inspired Obama. So to me, it would have been 6 of one, half dozen or the other.
Has either one of them done anything that has impressed you?
You know, I get this question all the time. Obama done anything to impress me? I like the number of vacations he takes. I wish I could take that many. He's played 10 times the rounds of golf that I've played this year. But I'm not... See, the root of that question is there anything nice? Because they may be perfectly nice people, Greta. I'm strictly oriented toward policy. And in the area of policy, I guess Obama was honest last December when he acknowledged he had to extend the Bush tax cuts. You remember during the lame duck session of Congress. And if you go back and listen to what Obama was saying a year ago, last December versus today, it's 2 different people. Last year, we couldn't end the Bush tax rate cuts because that would be a huge tax increase on the middle class. Well, now, wait a minute. Up until then, the Democrats and Obama said, no, the Bush tax cuts were for the rich only. Bush didn't cut tax in the middle class. Of course, he did. The Bush tax rate reductions were across the board for everybody. And Obama did not want to get rid of those last year because he did not want people with less money in their back pocket be a tax increase in his re-election year. That irritated his base, so now he had to promise January on through this year to get rid of it. The Bush tax cuts are now the big enemy. He's going to get rid of them, raise taxes on the rich. Totally disingenuous. But he was honest last December when he talked about the value of the Bush tax cuts and what damage would be caused if they got rid of them.